signature tune with Lerato Shadare, and the title is In It to Win It. Please kindly pay attention to the special effects that our wonderful Dr. Derek puts into the music as it plays. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Derek.
We're a nation, we are rising with one love, with one hope, bringing solution, lifting up humanity. Let's rise high, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn, we are the stars.
Your next stop is on Passive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
And looking forward to getting it back very soon. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Okay, we have a very, very special guest, and his name is Mr. Tim Farguson Jr. We're going to call him Mr. We're going to call him brother. We're going to call him King because he is all of those and even more. I know some of you might know him, and some of us might not. This is the first time that we're seeing him here present to us, and he's giving us a mindset. Our CEO has promised the physical, and he's going to help us with the mental. And that mental part today that our King Tim Ferguson will talk about is understanding how money works and building your financial house. That's a tough one. But because we do not know who he is, just want to share a little bit about who Mr. Ferguson is. He is a very trusted leader. He's a mentor and a personal development coach. He has an extensive background in fitness and health, and with over 20 years in his background in finance, he has over 20 years, and he's been a business developer. He's a wonderful teacher and a great speaker. Most importantly, one of the so many things that he does, he motivates and draws attraction from the audience. And we are the audience that he's going to motivate us tonight because we're looking forward to seeing the journey that he's sharing with us today. Let's make notes because we definitely will have to come back to him at the end of his presentation to see whether he can clarify some things or answer some questions that you may have about his presentation. So I can see from the chat that you know Queen Monique, and you're also one of the coaches that she has had. Thank you so much, Queen Monique, and thank you for coming to support our brother here. We are all here for him and for everybody else. So, Brother Ferguson Jr., the microphone is yours. I'm going to pause you and pass it over to you so you can do what you do best to motivate us tonight. Once more, welcome. And my name is Debbie, as you can see from my screen. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sister Debbie. Thank you. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be before you today. I just want to send a shout out first to say thanks to Dr. Ford and Tony for their support in me being able to work with them and engaging them in the very matters that I'm going to discuss right now. And I hope and I pray that what I share with you will not only be enlightening, but will also give you the steps, the first steps you need to take in getting your finances, which is a main part of getting your life in order. So I just want to say thanks again to give you a little bit about myself. As I said, thanks that I've been in this business and financial services for many, many years now. One of the things that has the biggest effects on our day-to-day life, marriages, work, our physical health, is money. And one of the things that I recognize over the years is that something that has such a huge impact on our lives in so many other areas is one thing that we know very, very little about. And for what we do know, a lot of it's an error. And rather than it being a matter of proving it or us proving saying is it an error or is it not, we got to look at the fruit. When we're based on the decisions we're making, problems that the choices we make that has positioned us for the problems that we have, for us to really look back and say, okay, let me read. Let me read. I want to look at things to see what can I make an adjustment in to make things better. As for one, I'm one where I like to look at the practicality of things, and I like to bring that practicality to matters that we all understand and apply it to things that we may not so much think about and understand. It's all the same thing. And so the first thing that we talk about is what is money, and something that we all use. It's something that we need, and it's something that we look to pass down if we have it. It's something that when we don't have it, it can be disastrous. But what is it? And that right there is something that if we were to put a stick in the hand of the people to give their definition of money, everybody's going to give you some form of a different answer. And to me, that right there is where the problem, because like things that we do know and understand in depth, everybody can say the same thing of what it is versus giving you a bunch of different metaphors of what they believe it is. And so what I'm going to do is I just want to start on that very matter right there is what is money? And, the simple form of it is money is just a medium of exchange. But what the medium of exchange means is that there's value that it can have. And in some ways it has value in some form, in some matters than it does in others. And how you value the money is going to determine how you leverage it, how you utilize it, how you save it, so on and so forth. And so the one of the things that I said I would, Dr. Ford, asked me to talk about is how does money work? And before I get into the details of that, I just want to break down four words that we all hear and we kind of use interchangeably for the most part. These four words, and if you can put a hand up if you say, hey, I know that word. You ever heard of the term being rich? You ever heard of the term being healthy? We've all heard of the term being poor, and we've all heard of the term of being broke. And in most cases, a lot of us, when we use these terms, they're based off of our perception of things. And one of the things that I learned early on from my mentors when I began learning about this that they taught me was there's no two words that mean the same exact thing. And when it comes to the terms rich and wealthy, these terms I believe we can all agree, are used interchangeably. If you ask a person, what does it mean to be wealthy versus what does it mean to be rich? And, many can say that, being wealthy means having a lot of money. Being rich means having a whole lot of money. And somebody else can kind of give you a different definition of what they think of it. And as I said, no two words mean the same exact thing. And so the truth of the matter, when it comes to those two words, I want you to understand is that one of these words is figurative and one of these words is literal. And what I mean by that is one of these words, the term wealth, simply it has to do with what is in your pocket. If somebody gave you $100,000 or if you made $100,000, whatever the case is, you have an asset value, you have wealth. But the word rich is a term that has nothing to do with anything physical. It has solely to do with the way that one thinks. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to go to the two terms that are also used interchangeably, poor and broke. And when we hear the term poor, a lot of times we can associate that to a lifestyle. We've also heard the terms poverty mentality. And then we also hear the word broke. And broke just means more so what's my current state. I don't have any money right now. Paid off all my bills. I don't have anything left over. I'm broke. Just like the words wealthy and rich are two, one is physical and one is literal. So are the words poor and broke. One is literal, and the other one is mental. And so, what do these mean? Um, and this is something that I've done for many years, asking people to give proof that what you know about money or what do you understand about money is not a result because of ignorant, because you just can't think straight or you're stupid or anything, but it's truly a result because of the way that we were taught to think about it. And so when it comes to these terms, the word wealthy, like I said, is a physical term. It means to be what's in your pocket, and rich is what is how you think. So what I will do this, and I want to challenge you guys as well as I say this to think about this for yourself. Um, I'm asking two questions, and with these two questions, we're gonna you'll give an answer, and we'll go from there. But how many of you guys ever heard the term of somebody says, if I give you $1 million, what would you do with it? And most people are thinking about, oh man, with $1 million, oh man, the first thing they're thinking about is their life. I'll get out of debt. I'll pay my house off. I'll go on that vacation I've been wanting to do. I'll buy that dream car, whatever it is they want to do. And then they may say, oh, I'll save the rest of it. We're not even going to talk about taxes for now. But and then I would ask that same person, okay, that's fair. I would ask them the same person, if I planted a large apple tree in your backyard that harvested apples every fall, would you chop down the apple tree and sell it for $1 million if it was worth it? Or would you just harvest the apples every fall? Now, 90% of the people I'd ask this question never answer that question. Most of them respond asking me, what fool would chop down an apple tree if it's harvesting apples? And I tell them, I said, the same fool that has spent $1 million. And they're puzzled because they don't understand that $1 million, when invested at a 10% rate of return, makes $100,000. And so, as a result, what I share with them is that being wealthy is, so again, what's in your pocket. Being rich is the way you think. And then there's two contrasting mindsets when it comes to money. The poverty mentality is a mindset that views money to buy things, whereas the rich mentality is a mentality that views money as leverage to make more money. And this is what I want you guys to understand, is that when you have money, when you have a seed, you have a resource that can generate from itself. Okay. And so where you can ask yourself, I can put this to work and it generates for me, or I can just buy something. I like to look at it this way. I can put it to work and it generates for me, and what I make from that, I can buy what I want. We've all heard of delayed gratification, right? And so one of the things, again, so when this is the tip of the matter where we're addressing when it comes to money, but one of the bigger issues is not only do we not understand this metaphor and this concept of money, but because we don't understand this, our lifestyle and our circumstances are so discombobulated when it comes to our finances. And so the thing that I would say that I would look at is, what should our lives look like? What should our finances look like? And our finances should look like a house. Okay. And I want you guys to think about this, that as I ask you this question, if you had a choice, again, money not an option, you had a choice, would you rather live in a trailer home, or whether you rather live in a single family home? Okay. For me, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys have your hand up like me, that you'd rather live in a single family home. Why? Because think about it. When you're living in a trailer home, it lacks a foundation. So if the weather gets too chaotic, you'll find that the trailer home is shifting or might flip over. The roof is not solid. You have this little flat little roof that something hard enough can fall right through it and into your house. The walls are thin. It's just overall, it's just not that pleasant compared to a single family home. And I'm sure with any of you guys that can, like in the comments, would you guys agree? Now, so I believe we all can agree on that concept. But now, when it comes to our finances, our homes, our finances look like trailer homes, believe it or not. And what do I mean by that? Is because when it comes to our day-to-day and our protection and how we're doing things, it's all discombobulated. We really are in very little positions to handle the things that come from left field. We don't know how, for the most part. And as a result, we deal with challenges that become long-term challenges because of the fact that we don't have a foundation built for it. I mean, we can't, think about it this way: life happens. We can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. We can't. Stances where we get hit from left field, but because we're not foundationally stable, it has an effect on us that we can become a long-term effect. A problem that could get fixed in a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, something we may have to deal with for years. What's worse is because we're born in it, we're raised in it, it's all we know. It becomes a lifestyle. It's just the way we do things. And so, as a result, where I want to talk, what I'm going to get into is talking about the financial house. What is a financial house, and how can I really how do I model a financial house with a physical house? Okay, so the thing that we want to that is important for each and every one of us, and if we want to build a house, when building a house, one of the most important things for us to have is a foundation. If you would all agree, right? Having a foundation for your house is what is important. We all want to make sure that we have something solid that we're walking on. Can hold us, can hold our furniture, and if anything, it's solid enough to handle any type of pressure. So what is that? I'm going to share my screen as I do this. Give me 1 second here. One quick second here. Here we go. Okay. So basically, we're talking about building your financial house. Okay. And so, as I was mentioning, we're talking about the foundation of a financial house. So, what is a what does the foundation of a financial house what represents a foundation? We've all heard of the term called life insurance, right? Well, life insurance is the foundation of our financial house. Why is it the foundation? It is what everything that we have it lies upon. Think about it in the sense that we all can we have automobiles, we have homes, and we cover insurance for our cars, we cover insurance for our homes. For in the case of something happening, we have a resource to take care of it. But in the case of our passing, we want to have an assets that is able to cover our own assets. And so now I want you to think about it real quickly because I know we have a great deal of people coming from different areas, so you may have different perceptions or perspectives of what you see life insurance is. But I want to share to you what my view of what life insurance is. Life insurance, believe it or not, it's not a liability. Most people think about life insurance and they say to themselves, "Oh man, that's an extra expense. I can't afford it." If I can't afford it, the minute something rough, it happens, that's one of the first things that I default on. And if I can, but also I know very little about it. And so the first thing is life insurance is often viewed as a liability, where in our reality, life insurance is an asset. And why do I say that? Life insurance is an asset because whatever you have coverage on within yourself, you're worth that. And typically, you want to have coverage that covers the assets that you actually own. In this case, if you have $100,000 in coverage, you're actually worth $100,000, not including any tangible assets that you may have. But having that is for the purpose for in the case that or when the case comes when you pass, you have the asset value to be able to carry on taking care of all of your other assets, whether that is you have benefactors that you can that are going to be taken care of. That money goes to where you're able to pay your house off if you're still owing on it, to manage other assets, however it be. But basically, you have something where it doesn't change those that you care about. It doesn't turn their lives inside out. Now, Like I said, life insurance is not something that is a popular subject because of the way people perceive it. Most people, are not thinking about it in a matter of paranoid. I'm going to die tomorrow, so it's easily kind of overlooked. But I want you to think about it like this. I want everybody to think for a second how much money you spend daily. Not talking about expenses, any fixed expense, but just daily, just for lunch when you're out in a day, going out to lunch, stopping at the store, whatever. How much would you say on average you spend a day? Now, most people, when I've asked this question, when and I've done surveys on this, most people on average spend anywhere between $20 to $50 a day, depending on their income. And so the next thing that I would want you to think about is would you consider is your most um, um, what would you consider would be your most devastating loss? Okay, of course we're not going to say ourselves because when we're gone, we're gone. But what would we consider our most devastating loss? Most of us would say that our most devastating loss could be our families. Okay, so I want you to think about it like this: does it make sense for my family, something that would be considered my most that would be the most devastating loss to me, the most important to me, be something that is taken care of less or put in being less prioritized than a cup of coffee in the morning that I go grab every single day. And I'm pretty sure when we look at it from this perspective, any of us would say, of course not. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that that's really how it looks in a sense. Because when we walk about our day to day and we're spending money buying coffee, we're spending money going out to eat and doing and buying whatever we want, and we don't have coverage to protect our family, we're prioritizing those things above our family. Now, what if you were able to protect your family for using only 2 to 5% of your income? In other words, what if you were able to protect your family for just $5 a day? Okay. Think about the ratio of how much you'd spend regularly a day, $20 to $50 compared to $5. There isn't anybody who said I can't take care of my family for $5 a day. So from this perspective, 2 to 5% of my income to take care of my family, of course, sure. Here's the good news about this is I can show you how. But I'll get to that in a minute. So right now we've all agreed in saying that I can take care of my family, or I'm willing to take care of my family with 2 to 5% of my income, or $5 a day, or so, or less. Then hey, okay, I've just built my foundation of my financial house, and now we want to move on to, before we get to the actual walls, we want to talk about the roof. Why? Because the roof is very, very important. Having a quality roof is very important. I'm sure if any of you who are homeowners can say this can definitely speak for the case that hey, if you have a leaky roof, that causes a lot of problems. It causes, when it leaks in the house, it causes mold, it causes damage, it causes a lot of issues, and it's costly. So it's not something that's easy to just fix, even if it's just little small minor repairs. It's still very costly. And so having a very solid roof is important. And so when it comes to the financial house, what is what is an example in our finances that makes up our roof? Well, what one of the things, and particularly when it comes to those that are in the working class, usually do not have access to, and it's legal advice. Okay, so when it comes to our roof here, legal protection. That's one thing that many of us go without. Oftentimes, we deal with legal matters and we don't request a lawyer because we feel like, man, a lawyer costs more money than the problem in and of itself. I'm going to end up fighting this off and paying all of my money out to the lawyer. So what happens is I go without it, or I deal with matters and I deal with all of the problems that comes with it. This is what I was talking about. The examples when you have an issue that happens, and you have to deal with this issue long term because whatever the case was, you couldn't get legal counsel to find out the loopholes or what to do in order to fix it. The matter that whatever it is cost, it cost you a lot of money, so you took a huge loss. And the time it takes for you to recover is based on the amount of the cost and the amount of income that you're bringing in on a regular basis. And this can take months, this can take a year, this can take a couple of years. And so, as a result, this is something that a lot of people live without. One of the biggest matters associated with legal protection is having a living will, and power of attorney. This is something that, when it comes to the working class per se, most people don't even converse about. They don't. It's not a part of the language when it comes to talking about these matters. And in fact, I've talked to some individuals, and they roll their eyes when you talk about a will. And and it's just, all I can say is just, if only you understood. That's another subject, another time. But the point of the matter, what is the significance and the importance of having a will? Well, think about it like this. When it comes to your assets, whether it's your house, whether it's any other resources, and in this case that you want protected or that you want to make sure goes to specific benefactors, it's important. You want to you want to have something that's written in this case to make sure that it goes to them. Because if it's not written, if you don't have these things, well, when you pass, all of your assets go to probate. When they go to probate, they're in the hands of the judge. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, brothers and sisters, they're all going to be at probate fighting one another. And at the end of the case, you might not have another family reunion again, because they're going to end up hating each other, fighting over everything. So we don't, so the best way to avoid this is to have our assets protected. And having a will, a living will, and a legal power of attorney is essential. Somebody that you basically trust. And this can be a limited power of attorney. This can be a full power, however way you want it to be, but works in the case that if I'm unable to do something, I still have some legal power and control on how things are going. I can't be taken advantage of. So the question now we ask ourselves, do I have a will? Okay. The question you might ask yourself, do you want a will? Do you see the need of a will? Okay. And I'm pretty sure we all can think about matters of how a will be essential, or we could even think about how a will would have been essential for us if we have loved ones that we've lost, and they've had things that they did not leave, or and then in this case, that's kind of left us astray. In a matter where we recognize the feelings and how that feels, and we don't like how that feels, and we definitely wouldn't want to lead that on another generation. So this is something that is very, very important that we want to take seriously. Now, the next question is, because this is where everyone is thinking of, well, man, well, how much does it cost to have a living will or to put together these things? What if I told you you can get these things done on pennies on the dollar? There are resources that are out there that enable you to do this as well. Even much cheaper than just the cost of $5 a day for life insurance. So that's the next thing. So this is still, again, something that is within the means that we all can handle by reallocating what we already have. And I'll get to that a little bit more as we go on. The next thing we want to get to is we want to get to now the walls of the house. Okay. And the walls are going to be built up with a few different things. The first thing that we want to talk about, what I want to talk about, is what we call an emergency fund. Some of you might have this. Some of you, you may have it. You may have it termed something different. But the purpose of an emergency fund is having money set aside for an emergency purpose. What's ideal is to have anywhere between 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses set aside in a savings account. That would be ideal. So in the case you have a flat tire, something happens with your roof, something, your kid gets into a matter that needs some help, you have a resource to where you can pull out of to be able to take care of that matter, that does not affect the money, your normal day-to-day finances, that takes care of your normal expenses. Or if you have current assets or resources, you're not pulling away from them. Okay. Now, here's the other thing that's really why I say it's also really essential and important to have an emergency fund. What an emergency fund replaces, it replaces the credit card. Now, I want you to think about it like this, because I've had conversations with some people where they would fight tooth and nail and saying, no, I'm keeping my credit card. Okay. Personally, keeping a credit card and fighting for a credit card is kind of like shooting yourself in the foot and then trying to run a race. Okay. Here's why I want you to think about it like this. If you had the choice to take out a loan, borrow money from somebody, would you rather borrow money and pay interest to a credit card, or would you rather borrow money from yourself and pay yourself back? Okay. Now, think about it. I want you to understand from this, when you're paying yourself, why it's important, what is good to pay yourself back is because the money that you're borrowing from yourself is also in a resource account where it's making money. Remember what I said before in the very beginning when it comes to understanding the rich mentality, seeing money as leverage to make more money. So when I have savings, it's not just sitting away in a little shelter, just kind of doing nothing. It's in position where it's generating, it's working for me. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with money working for you. Why? And here's my reasons why, because money doesn't complain, money doesn't need overtime, money doesn't need PTO hours. You know, money doesn't have sick leave. Money can work 168 hours a week and not complain. And so if would I rather work 40 hours a week for 30 years of my life and have 80% of that income just to show for it for retirement, which in today's economy is not enough today? Or would I rather find a way to put my money to work while I'm working so that when I come to retirement age, or even if I'm at a retirement age, I find ways to be able to generate income and live more comfortably? So again, this is one of the reasons why an emergency fund is essential. And just before I go further, you might ask yourself the question: well, what do I put an emergency fund in if I'm not putting it in a savings account? Well, I like to think of it like this. Um, it, it's important to have some savings on spot, like hey, in your bank account, and it's also good to have a majority remainder of that emergency fund offshore, and in what I would like to call an investment account. Some place where it can grow, where you don't have easy access to get to it. And I want you to think about it like this. Okay, I'm one where I like to work smarter and not harder. And I want you to think about that. And so I don't want to challenge myself and have to be tempted if I don't have to. Imagine yourself making this decision that you're going to go on a diet and you're going to stop eating ice cream for like 1 week. And cool goal. It's very possible. But now imagine your husband or your wife or somebody comes to your house and they bring a nice jar of Ben and Jerry's ice cream and they sit it in your fridge. And then they're saying, I'm just here to test you. I just want to see how long you can go without eating this Ben and Jerry's. And at first you'll say to yourself, I can do this. I can go without eating it. But here's the thing. Here, let's be honest. Every single time you open up that freezer and you have a craving, you see that ice cream, you're going to want to taste it every single time. The first few times you may say you'll fight it off, but eventually, maybe 2-3 days into this, you're like, man, I just need one bite. I just got to taste one bite of it. Just one bite won't hurt. And there you go. You open it up and you just take one bite and to kind of get that little, all right, it's done. I'm glad I got my craving over. Next thing you know, you're back in there. I want another bite. And then another bite. Next thing you know, a couple of days have gone past and almost 3/4 of the ice cream is gone. And then you kind of look at yourself and you kind of feel a bit of a failure. Like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to eat the rest of it. Start over. This is something that this is something that is natural for all of us. This is not a matter of somebody, oh, you got poor discipline or anything. No, this is just being real when it comes to our desires and cravings. And so, in learning to use wisdom. And so, this is kind of the same way I want you to understand when you have money in a savings account. When you have money in your savings account, something that you can have access to, whether it's via Cash App, you got the ATM down the street from you. You go to the bank on a regular basis. It's kind of like putting your money that you're trying to save. It's like that ice cream that you're putting in the freezer and you're trying not to touch it. So rather than testing yourself and seeing how disciplined you are, it would be better to use wisdom to say, I'm only going to keep about maybe 1 to 2 months of my living expenses in this savings account at my bank. The rest of these expenses, I'm going to set aside into an investment account, another a money market account that earns anywhere between 5 to 6% interest, but it's not easily accessible. So in the cases when I'm feeling like I want to use the money to buy something real quick and I promise I'm going to pay myself back or anything, I can't do it because I don't have access. It's too hard for me to do it, And so, those cravings or those desires that you have, they come and then they go, but then also because it's not there, certain thoughts that you may have are not going to be there either. You're not going to think about buying certain things or spending, looking to spend, certain things at certain levels because it's not there. And so this is just one way when it comes to putting your money aside, your savings aside, how to store it where you're able to keep it. Okay. Now, moving on, when it comes to an emergency fund, as I said, we want to have at least 3 to 6 months of it. The next thing we want to talk about when it comes to the walls is renovating our walls, and that's debt elimination. Now, when I think of debt in association to savings, most of us can say, yeah, I'm in more debt. I have more liabilities than I have assets. I owe more than I have worth. You might own a home, but if you own a home of you and you just finance that home, you don't own a home. You own a mortgage. And you have to pay that mortgage off. And once that mortgage is paid off, now you own a home. Now you have the assets of what that house is worth. But if you own a mortgage, it's the mortgage, which is the liability subtracted by the asset value. And if the home is worth more than the mortgage, great, you got a little bit of equity there. But in reality, and in the case, things are not that quite simple. So when it comes to when I look at my financial portfolio, and for most of us, it's a portfolio where our liabilities are either at even with assets or greater than our assets. And going back to a house, what this looks like to me is like, imagine a house that had electricity built, the electricity lines built on the outside of the walls. Imagine that. Okay. Electricity is in the inside of the walls, but imagine if the electricity lines were all built on the outside of the walls. And I want you to ask yourself the question, would this house be safe if electricity was built on the outside of the walls? No, it wouldn't. In fact, you may have to line up, measure out 3 feet away from the wall and put tape down going through the house and saying, do not walk past this line. Because if you do, you're likely to hit the wall and get electrocuted. It's not safe. So again, this is what when we have a house, when we're in debt, this is what our financial house looks like. It's not safe. We're in a position where when things happen, we're just kind of, it's what it is. We don't have resource. We got these debts and not only do we owe these debts, if we can't pay these debts, we're at risk of losing what we owe, losing our things. If I can't pay my mortgage, I'm at risk of losing my house. If I can't pay my property taxes, I'm at risk of losing my house. If I own a car, I'm at risk of losing my car. Anything that I own a liability, I'm at risk of losing it if I can't keep up the payments. So what does that mean? I cannot afford for problems to happen, big problems to happen. And you remember what I said, it would be great and ideal if we lived in a world where we could mitigate problems happening, but that's not life. So the best thing we can do is build ourselves up to be able to manage problems when they happen. So this is one of the reasons why we have so much, why finance brings so much stress. That has a huge seed on the fact of dealing with brain problems, tumors, all kinds of things that none of us that actually look forward to or desire to have when we look ahead of time. And so the next thing we want to do is we want to eliminate debt. Now, how do we eliminate debt? Pretty sure you guys have ever heard, you've heard of a guy by the name of Dave Ramsey, or you may have heard of Susie Orman. These are individuals. These are the money people. They like to talk, they're on radio shows and they talk about ways to make money, save money, and change your financial lives. And here's the thing. What they give, the information they give is really detailed information. I'll give it that. The problem is that what they're giving is information that requires discipline. And think about it like this. If I've been the way I've been my entire life, I'm 42 years old, but if I've been doing the things that I've been doing my entire life, and now all of a sudden I have to turn around my life and I have to do all of these new things, the chances of me doing that is very slim to none. It's not realistic. Think about it. If I've been an overeater and, I've never really taken care of myself physically, and then now I get on this thing on going to the gym and exercising, Yeah, I might do it for a minute, but after a while, I'm going to fall back off. It's not realistic. Okay. Not saying it's not possible, but it's not realistic. And one of the things that I've always asked my clients in the case, and this is something that I'd even ask you, and you guys can put it in the chat. If you're in a financial challenge, if you're in a fire right now, would it make sense for me to teach you how to stop, drop, and roll? What do you want me to just help you get out of the fire? Pretty sure most of you say, just get me out of the fire. And that right there is the wise thing to do. I can teach you how to stop, drop, and roll later. So what we want to get in now, so when it comes to debt elimination, the way that their way of doing it, like I said, has a success rate that is very, very slim because it requires discipline. And when you're in a fire, we're not trying to think about discipline right now. We're in an emergency. We need something now. So what if what I show my clients, those that I work with, is ways of getting out of the fire with what you already have. So imagine, so there. I want to give you educate you on 5 pointers of where your money goes into. They're called 5 expenditures that your money falls into. We all know about taxes. We all know about insurance. We know about debt. We know about savings. And then there's one column we just call everything else. Okay. So when we make our money, this is where our money goes. It goes to taxes first. We got to pay the government. If we don't pay the government, we go to jail. It goes to debt. If we don't pay our debts, we lose our things. It goes to insurance. If we don't cover our insurance, we're open to financial catastrophe. And then it goes to savings. If we don't have a savings built up, we're bound to have to work forever. And then there's everything else. And see, most people, most of us, when we are looking at getting out of debt, we're looking at the everything else column and saying, how can I save money here to pay down my debt? And that's the problem. That's where the discipline comes in, because that's when it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to cut my phone bill in half, and I need to cut my cable off, or I need to stop going out to eat and doing these things in this case. And you can do that for a season, but for the time that it actually takes, it's unrealistic. But what I show individuals is that out of the first 4 expenditures, we can find money out of the 4 expenditures that your money already goes into, and find money to get out of debt. Again, this is getting out of the fire. Oh, so what do you mean by that? If you're in a position where, let's say, you're in a tax bracket and you get a tax return, that tax return, the reason why you get this tax return is because the government took too much money from you and they're paying it back to you interest free. What you can do is you can go back to your job and you go into withholdings and you can say, I want you to put the money back into my check. Let's say you get a $3,000 tax return. That's $250 a month. You can go back into your job and say, I want you to put $250 back into my check. Now, if you guys got a pen or a ledger, I want you to write 250 down on a piece of paper, okay? Now let's talk about debt. Let's say most of us, we can say, I have at least 1 to 3, maybe 4 or 5 credit cards, and they're all high. I'm maxed out. Usually why we have 2 and 3 credit cards is the fact because the first 2 credit cards get maxed out, and then we open up another credit card. We all get caught up in the same matter of when it comes to credit. And now one of the things that we all have been taught, if we're wise, is when it comes to paying credit cards, we never pay the minimum balance. If you pay the minimum balance, you will never get out of debt. You're only paying interest. So we always try to put a little bit over the minimum balance to kind of pay the balance down some. Okay. Now, for most of us, based on average, we spend anywhere between $150 on credit card debt, paying down above minimum balance. I want you to write now $150 below $250. Okay. The next expenditure I talked about is insurance. Whether you have homeowners insurance, car insurance, life insurance, whatever what you have, there's ways that you can save money on insurance. There's ways that you can save money in these areas, and any money we can save in these areas is added to it. On average, sitting with someone, we save anywhere between $80 to $100 on insurance. So next to below 150, I want you to write $80. Okay, and then lastly is the savings account. Now I ask some people, they say, hey, do you put money away for savings? People say yes. Whatever they put, I ask for them to put 25% down. So if a person says, hey, yeah, I try to save at least $100 a month, I say, okay, I want you to we're going to take 20% of that, $100, and I want you to write $20 below that 80. And I want you to tally those up, the 250, the 150, the 80, and the 20, and how much does that add up to be? And when you guys tally that up, if you guys are real quick and good at math, you already know that's $500. Okay, what I've just showed you guys is that out of the income you're already using, I found $500 out of your current income that we're going to use to protect your family via income protection, life insurance. Money goes towards your emergency fund. Money going towards paying down your debt. Whereas now when we work on paying down your debt, you have a debt freedom day. Whereas based on what you're doing, you'll be out of debt in 6 years or 4, whatever the case is, compared to where you're at right now, that might be 30 years, you have a debt freedom day. And become an investor. Take a portion of that money to start investment accounts. Okay. And once the debt is all paid off, now that's all money that now can go straight towards investments. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to show that right now, but being able to show you investment calculators of what money set aside, anything as little as $75 a month at a 9% rate of return, what that looks like over 10 years and 15 years, that's thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you make just by $900 a month. And so this is highly doable just with the math that I just created through the funds. Now you can come up with more than that, or it can be a little bit less. It doesn't matter at this point here. The point of the matter is that we're restructuring your mindset for you to look at your money in a way that you've never seen it before, looked at it before. Now, when it comes to these three things here, emergency fund, debt elimination, and being an investor, protecting your income, the emergency fund is very, very crucial. Some people will say, well, man, I just want to invest. I just want to put more money in my investments and invest. And I'll say, no, we don't want to do that. You want to build your emergency fund. And here's why. Because the purpose of the emergency fund is to be a hedge of protection to your income protection, which is your life insurance, and a hedge of protection to your investments. So in the case, if there's an emergency, rather than saying, oh man, I got to pull out of my mutual fund to fix my roof, or I got to default on my life insurance because I got to fix my tire. Rather than putting your assets at risk, you actually hedge them when you have a resource that can cover these things. And then again, when you pull out of your emergency fund, what do? You treat it like a credit card. It's due at a due date. You pay yourself back. And you have an incentive to want to pay yourself back, because if you're earning 3%, if you're earning 6% on your emergency fund, well, hey, the more money that is in your emergency fund, the more it's going to generate. So this is why you want to put that money back. Okay. And see, and now you might ask yourself the question, well, how do I do that? How do I get into a place of being able to put that money back? Well, I'll put it to you like this. The way that we think of money, the minute money falls into our lap, and how we think about it is what's going to really determine on, is this something feasible or not? And for most of us, I'm just going to be real with you, it's not feasible. Okay, here's why. Because for most of us, when we get money, what do we think about? Well, for us, that are believers and are dedicated to the Most High, we tithe. Hey, I give 10% to the Lord, and after that, I pay my bills, and after that, I have money set aside for the week, and after that, it's just whatever. Okay, and as a result, with a plan or a plan of action with your money like that, you'll never get a hit. You'll never get a hit. Okay. You can think so, and any of you may have tried it, and you can say, "Hey, I agree. I've tried it, and this is why I'm at right now." Not saying where you're at is not a good place, but you're not where you want to be or where you thought you would have been trying it. I want you to think about it from this perspective. So, what is the thing that I want you to adopt right now that is going to help for bring what I'm showing you into perspective that you can actually do it? And is learning this one concept that I want, that when it comes to how money works, and it's called paying yourself first. Okay, pay yourself first. Write this down. Pay yourself first. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if that's something that has never been in a fragment of my mind and my thinking, that's something that I need to hear a little bit more. Okay, what do you mean by pay yourself first? Okay, so just like just like the government takes its taxes up front, just like we give 10% to the church up front, you want to also set aside 10% to yourself, or maybe 5% to yourself. But basically, you're setting it, you have a mindset that you pay yourself first. Now, some people might say, well, man, that feels weird. It feels strange. I'm paying myself first. I got bills to pay. And but what about my bills? So what? This is why we have a debt elimination plan. This is why we have a strategy of paying things off. But paying yourself first is not spending the money. Paying yourself first is setting the money aside in a place so it can grow. So think about it. Most of us, we make decisions. We'll say to ourselves, "Well, man, I'm very risky, and I don't want to lose my money, but I'll spend it in a dime," which is the very matter, losing my money. So getting understanding this perspective that when I'm saving my money and I'm investing my money, paying myself first, it's just set aside. It's not gone. It's there. It's still tangible. But now but because I'm putting it first, I'm able to create a consistent game plan on paying myself. So when it comes to the idea of I'm starting up a Roth IRA and I want to put money into into this investment monthly, well, with the idea of paying myself first, that's something that's easy to do. You know, if I'm looking to save for something and I want to put money towards a mutual fund each month, with the idea of paying myself first, that's something that's easy to do. Here's the thing: I didn't say how much to say. I didn't say it's got to be a fixed amount. It just has to be a habit. Okay, even if I can only put $1 aside, if that's all I can give myself is $1, I'm gonna give myself $1. Okay, it's the concept that I am building. It's the habit that I want to build. Because guess what? The money is gonna change. Circumstances are gonna change. Okay, and what I don't want to do is wait until circumstances get better to then say, okay, now I'm ready to adopt a new strategy. No, I'd rather start where I'm at right now, whether it's $2, $10, $5, whatever it is. And then now, by the time money really gets coming in, I'm already versed to it. I'm already developed in this and matured in this to where I'm just making it happen. And where it seems as though being successful seems really hard, because you may hear, I might sound like, oh, you're making it sound so easy, you know. And the truth of the matter, I used to think the matter like, yeah, it sounds so easy. It's too good to be true. The truth of the matter is, it is easy. Okay. But it's easy when you reconstruct your mindset on how you do things so that it works. I want you to think about it like this. Okay. Each and every one of us all have strengths, and we all have what I call idiosyncrasies, areas that we are shortfalls. Okay. One of the things, and then we all have what we call gray areas. One of the things that we all can relate to, looking at ourselves and saying the areas that we're strong in, we have certain expectations associated to that, where certain expectations of success. We have certain expectations that we can give people that we're actually able to, and we actually give them. And in this case, again, areas we're strong in. And then there's areas that we're not so strong in. But guess what? We also have certain expectations associated to that. You might be very great at being an administrator, have an administrative role in your job, in your business, but your house is a mess. Okay. It doesn't take away from you being a great administrator, but in the area when it comes to the domestic side, your house is a mess. I'm pretty sure for one who has a messy house never goes around frustrated and crying when they're like, why can't I find my pen? When they're saying to themselves, man, I just need to clean up this house. If I clean up this house, I'll stop losing things. Okay. So their expectations are in alignment with where they're at. But see, then there's also a gray area that we all have, where we have expectations for things, but what we're doing is not in alignment with those expectations. And when it comes to money, this is one of those gray areas where we are expecting success. We're expecting growth, but the decisions that we're making, what we're doing, how we're doing things only promote failure. It only promotes short-term results. So think about it this way. I'm making decisions. in doing things based on my way of thinking that can only promote short-term results, but I have long-term result expectations, what am I going to experience? Failure, frustration. This is too hard. This is not for me. If only life was better. If only I had this, or if only I've had that. Those are the things. And guess what? If you had all those things, you'll fall back to where you're at right now, because it's not having it or not having it. It's the mindset that you have that embraces it or that allows it. And so when I'm trying to climb a wall or climb a ladder wearing ice shoes, well, guess what? Or climb a mountain wearing ice shoes, well, yeah, I'm never going to get to the top. Okay. And when I get to and when I'm seeing others that are doing it and they're just doing it because they're wearing cleats, I'm over here like frustrated. When the reality is, I'm in my way of doing things is hindering me, or it's opposite of being able to do these things. So I want you to understand that just with this matter here of paying yourself first is essential. The last thing that to the house that we want to talk about, and this is the part that I'll talk about the least amount on it in this case, but it's essential, is college savings. If you have children, grandchildren, and you basically have an idea, you're really strong on education, you want to have something that you can build for your children. And you don't want you being the breadwinner, or you or your, whomever being the breadwinner, if something happens to them, that the plans that you have for your children fall out of the roof. So, hey, what's the way how we are able to understand what that looks like? Hey, $25,000 a year for tuition. Okay. Times that by 4 years, that's $100,000. I want to be able to have an asset value that covers that $100,000. So in the case that something happens to me, my children can still do what that we intended them to do. And if I and here's the thing: if I have that $100,000 in tangible assets, well, I don't necessarily need the $100,000 of coverage. Okay, but if I have the $100,000 of coverage when I don't have the tangible assets, and I'm building myself over time to eventually, in the time I have the tangible assets, well, yeah, I won't necessarily need the $100,000 of coverage. I can keep it if I want to, but it's not necessary. Okay, and so, but as a result, so when we understand these things from this matter here, this is this is all very doable just by making a few adjustments in how we do things, just by adjusting the way that we see things with what we do on a regular basis. And my objective is, this is what I do for a living. When I do this, what I do for a living, I do this eliminating the all of the means that most people will say, well, I can't do this. I offer services and offer my education, something that is worth thousands of dollars, for free. I offer and I show things to individuals that others may not care to show anybody, because I truly have a heart to want to see people succeed. And so whether it's if you have an education account and you want an education account, I'm able to help you. We can do that. If you want to duplicate your paycheck for retirement, if you want to be able to live financially free, I can help you do that. If you want to become debt free in the next 10 years, I can help you do that. And how much does it cost? I'd say maybe 30, 45 minutes of your time. I call time a intangible form of money, because yes, when we waste it, we lose it, and it can be very valuable. But one thing, unlike money, is when we lose it, we can't get it back. So I also say that in operating with the sense of urgency, that there are things that you see yourself that you say, you know what, I don't have, or I do, but it's really not that good. You really want to jump on it, because time isn't of the essence, and we don't know what tomorrow holds. And for anything that we do desire to have, we don't want to make it whereas time is not in our favor because we're choosing to delay. Any questions, anything that you guys have as associated to what I'm saying, any comments you make, would like to make, you can make this now. What I would like to do, because I know I covered a great deal of information talking about the financial house. If you'd like to leave your information down in the chat for me to take down, and we can set a time where we can talk one-on-one. Where you can pass your information to Dr. Ford, and she can collect that information and refer refer you to me, and we can go forward from there. But ultimately, let this be a staple of change going from here on out, and let this be a change not only it's a change for you, but that you see that it can be a change for other loved ones, friends, family, and whatnot that you believe can really benefit from this. Again, I want to thank you guys for your time. Dr. Ford, again, it was a pleasure and an honor. And I hope you guys enjoyed everything that was said, and that this was well benefited for you guys. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Ferguson. Very much appreciate that awesome presentation. We appreciate your time. You put so much effort into it. I was just taking notes and adding the 250, 180, 20. When I got that 500 and you explained why you did it, I said, oh, wow, I never thought of that. We really appreciate you coming to us today. I can see a beautiful sweetheart from Queen Tony, and Dr. T has her hand up. But I know you did say that you'll put your contact on the phone, on the chat, and we can reach out to you, anyone who has questions, which is perfectly fine. But right now, I'll pass it over to Dr. T, please. Over to you, Dr. T. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say, Tim, thank you for your time. You have a phenomenal family that you've taken time to not be with right now. Tim didn't tell you this. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this with you, but he is a phenomenal husband and father of 7 children. Okay, and they're small, they're young children, and he's taking time out of his schedule. Yes, Dr. Benny, close your mouth. Close your mouth. Yes, Dr. Benny. And so he's taking time out of his schedule to be with us this evening. Okay, and I want you all to know, I've been teaching you all this, that money is a living entity. I've done a lot of webinars on this topic, not in depth like Tim, because he's the specialist. He showed you how it works, but I've given you little tidbits about money, respecting money, not being in debt, the difference between being broke and poor. We talked about all that. Okay, God used me to share that with you. But I'm really hoping that you take this time to take what he taught seriously. Right now, when monies are released from on passive, we have to understand how our money works. And look at the house. I took those notes. Look at the house that Tim built, and talk about the investments and having an emergency fund and having the legal protection. And he didn't talk about the ID protection, but that's all part of that, making sure that you can protect your ID. Your identity. That's what Dr. Benny talks about. But he has an entity that he's put in place that he'd show you how to also have a professional service for little or nothing to protect your identity. Okay, that's something you should all be looking at. So please take this webinar very seriously. Please reach out to me or Tim. And Tim, if you could put your number in the chat if you want to do that, or they can contact me. We can do that. But I hope that you don't leave this webinar saying, "Oh, I already know all that. I don't need all that. I'm good." Because most of us are not good. Okay, most of us. One of the things that Queen Debbie said a while back, it has nothing to do with your race. It just has to do with our education about money. Most of us, we don't, unless you go to school for accounting or you go to school for business, you're not taught. If you're studying psychology, or if you're studying music, if you're studying dance, if you're studying engineering, you may not understand. They don't teach you how money works unless you're going into an arena. I believe they should put how money works and the importance of understanding money in the curriculum, no matter what curriculum you're studying. So, Tim, I really appreciate you being a part of this platform. I'm hoping that Dr. Derek will allow you to come back for other topics. He's also an author of 2 books, and one of the books he's written called The Health Quadrant, which is phenomenal book. He's an author, and I'm hoping that he will be able to come back and share with you and become a part of our Unpassive family. Become a part of our family. We have a wonderful platform. The people on that platform are phenomenal people. They're educated. They're wise. They're humble. They're sweethearts. You can see. You're already King Timothy Ferguson. You're king. You're a king. Okay. So, and they mean that. You're king. You're King Timothy Ferguson Jr. You're king, and that's how they look at you. Okay, so that's all I had to say. I wanted to just give you my little 2 cents. And Monique, thank you for joining us today, and I hope that you'll come back and be a part of our platform also. Thank you, Monique. Monique is a part of our board of Your Own Uniqueness. She has her own business, Talking Something to Death. She's one of our promoters. She does a lot of wonderful things. And Monique, while you're on the platform, come on back and just introduce yourself right now and tell them a little bit about you. Put your hand up so that Queen Debbie can acknowledge you. Tell them about what you do, and maybe one day we'll have you speak on the platform if you don't mind. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie, for allowing me to share.
You're welcome, Dr. T. Uh, Queen Monique, I know I saw you earlier. If you could raise your hand, I'm looking for you. Maybe she's not ready now, Dr. T.
Okay, all right.
I'm not seeing her.
Oh, maybe she got off. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe she got off because she was
It's
there earlier.
okay. If
Okay.
she comes back, we'll give her the opportunity to speak. But in the interim, as our brother had suggested, if anyone needs to reach out to him, you know how to reach out to him through Dr. T. Is that right, Dr. T?
Yes. Do you want me to put my phone number in the chat, or do you just know how to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All
So,
right.
Dr. Benny, moving over to you, you have something to say before we start the next segment of the webinar, please.
Yes.
Hey, money, money, money. That's right. What else? Oh, man. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all my queens and kings around the globe. I really want to take this special moment to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing each and everyone this evening, this morning, or afternoon. It all depends upon your location. You guys know that our God loves each and everyone. That is why He created all of us in His image. I want to thank God for sending Mr. Ash Mofare to you and I. As you all know, that he is a self-sacrificing man, a man who has a heart for humanity, and who stated that either I do or I die. You guys know that we're supposed to pray for him every day. That Heavenly Father, please take good care of Mr. Ash Mofare and his entire family. Give him the courage, the strength, the talent that he has, and you know that he is determined to do what it takes to make sure that all the brand ambassadors smile, just like me. Anyway, Brother Timothy, King Timothy, thank you. We thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. The knowledge that you have when it comes to finance is too much for me to bear. And you make us to understand. You say wealth. Wealth is something that you have in your pocket. I just have $5. So am I really want to appreciate you. And we pray that you will come back to us. I pray that God should guide and protect you as well and your entire family, and to continue for him to give you that knowledge to go out there and preach about finance, because that is what we need at the moment as brand ambassadors. I want to thank you again. And I would say extraordinary mindset. Please come back. We love you.
Thank you. Will do. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Brother Tim, you're the best. I don't know how you do with 7 children, but when there's a will, there's a way. You're a strong man, and we're so proud of you because you have a very good heart, a soft spot for mankind, and for you to dedicate your hour to spend, the night to spend with us. We appreciate that very, very much. I don't know how you kept them away, why they let you do this presentation, but we really appreciate it very much. Thank you. Okay, the next program for the night is about cybersecurity, and we have to stay protected. The one and only person who has been doing this for about a year is Dr. Benny. Every week, she's here to educate us. She does not need any further introduction, but I just want to highlight that she has a PhD in information technology and is certified in 9 areas of that same topic related to information technology. And her specialization is in cyber security. So she has touched in so many areas, and we don't know what she is going to share with us because every week is a unique topic that she shares. So let's stay protected by our one and only First Lady, Queen Sister Dr. Benny. Over to you, sis.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. You guys noticed last week, Dr. Derek said something about a VPN, right? Or virtual. So VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It is a technology that will encrypt your data when you use the internet, scrambling it to strangers on the same network that they cannot read it. So VPN creates a secure tunnel, right, between your device and the internet in order to protect your data during the transmission. Now, this secure tunnel, it helps VPN now to disguise your IP address, right? Mask your online activities, including the links that you click, right? And fields, or sometimes when you download, it will hide your physical location to help you access your favorite content. A VPN gets the name from its embodied V, virtual, P, private, and then N as the network. So the V, it functions without the physical cable. Instead, it realizes on what? The digital pathway. And then the network, or the P, which is a private, what it does is that it enhances without the physical cable, right? And instead, it realizes on the digital pathway, or it shields the data by browsing the activities from the snoops. Then the N, which is the network, it establishes and what it does is that it maintains the connections between the device and a VPN server. So if you don't mind, I am going to share my screen. So when it comes to VPNs, it is essential to protect your information. That is what security is all about. Please give me a minute. Okay, let's see. Is it sound? Share. Let's see. All right. You guys can see, right? Let me see. I know that Queen Debbie. Oh, I went so fast. Okay. As you all can see, all virtual. VPN, private, virtual private network. So, an overview. Have you ever checked your bank account or any type in your credit card number to buy something online or while running an errand? Now, if you have done this without connecting to your virtual private network, you could have exposed your private information and browsing habits to criminals or cyber criminals or other intruders loitering on the same network. My queens and my kings, keep reading to learn more how to stay securely connected on the go and how different types of VPN can help keep your online sessions safe. So, a VPN is a service that establishes a secure, encrypted connection for your internet traffic. Now, keeping your online activities hidden and protecting your privacy. The best VPNs have a no lock policy, bank grade encryption, and a variety of servers around the world to help you browse secretly. Now, what is that no lock? A no lock VPN is a virtual private network service that does not collect or store any of our information, online activities. This means that your online privacy and privacy are protected as no data related to your browsing, downline, or searches is served by the VPN provider. I believe you guys, okay. Now, the VPN, we all know when it comes to on passive, it is called O virtual private network. The O virtual within our company, it is a virtual private network that encrypts and transmits the data from different locations. So if you want to protect your network, the tool, this our own O virtual, right? It will capture your traffic by disabling and secure encrypted tunnel being tracked by accessing to data that may be restricted or not available in your country or region. Our VPN, that means our own passive VPN. What it does is that it allows you to access information from anywhere. Guess what? In the world, whether you're in Cameroon or Japan or Europe, wherever you are, you can still access it. Can you believe it? All virtual. Now, if you are an adventurer, turn on your VPN to have what? Secure and secure access to the internet from where? In the world. Explore the internet without borders. Endlessly. Expand your search for what? Knowledge. As you all know, knowledge is power. The virtual tool of OnPassive means that it allows high definition transmission through which allows access to high quality internet. Our smart VPN analyzes the connection, the quality, and avoids what? Allowing high risk connections that are vulnerable to hackers attack. Now, all virtual allows you to extend VPN to all devices and all operating systems with just a few clicks. Can you guys believe it? We have it. OnPassive is real. All virtual is a virtual private network that encrypts and transmits data from various locations. Now, if you want to protect your network, The tool called O Virtual will track your traffic, right, by disabling any tracking secure encrypted tunnel. So what is that tunnel? Tunneling is a way to move package from one network to another. That's it. Tunnel. Removing what? One package to another. Tunneling works via encapsulating, wrapping the package inside another package. Now, it uses most reliable VPN tool to protect your data. That is it. VPN. Protecting your what? Data. And what is data? Data is money. Data is also your information. You know what I mean. All virtual features can help you gain the privacy and anonymity you need to protect your access to the public network connections from anywhere. Can you believe it? Oh, virtual. So how do VPN works? VPN encrypts the connection between your device and the network, which helps strengthen online privacy and security. This is the process a VPN follows after you connect and begins your search, right? So when you go to the internet, you enter a search query, you visit a website, right? Now the request passes through the VPN client on your device. Now the VPN client establishes what? A secure tunnel to the server, now encrypting the data in transit. Now the VPN server forwards the request now to the internet. The internet processes the request. The internet sends the results back to the VPN server through what? That secure tunnel. Now, the VPN server responds to your device through the VPN client. As you guys see this diagram here, I believe this is the explanation here. You enter the search query, that's number one, all this. All right, let me not take your time. So VPN encryption capabilities, it helps you to browse secretly, right? Access content more freely. It protects intrinsic data, stop the website from tracking you, and it protects your private what? Information. So we do have some few details about VPN and the benefit, right? Let's say access content freely. VPN are they're useful resources for journalists, for those who are traveling as well. They can help you access the content that may be otherwise unavailable in your location. It all depends. Data protection. We keep talking about protecting your data, right? That's what Queen Debbie said. We have to protect our data. VPN encrypts your internet traffic, making it safer to access financial accounts, private data, and other sensitive information online without others eavesdropping. Less online tracking. Advertisers, you guys notice that we do have a lot of advertisers out there. So advertisers track much more of your much of your online activities using computer cookies. VPN can help make it harder for them to even track it and monitor your activities by obscuring your IP address. Protection on the public Wi-Fi. On secure public Wi-Fi, networks are notorious place for hackers. They will do anything, right, to steal your information. So a VPN can help stop this by hiding your internet session activities so cyber criminals can't see what you are doing. That is why we have O virtual. VPN can help provide additional layer of online privacy to protect when sending and receiving your data. By disguising these IP addresses and encrypting in transit, VPN are useful. They are useful tools for online banking, journalism, activism, accessing content while traveling or accessing a dark web. You guys heard about the dark web, right? All right. So, general users. Here are we do have some different types of VPN, right? General users. Using a VPN can help enhance privacy. It will hide your online activity. So these benefits are especially helpful when using public Wi-Fi network, ensuring that data while in transit is encrypted. Now, we talk about businesses. Using a VPN, it offers businesses like our company on Passive to secure the remote access for its employees to protect the company data when employees are accessing the network remotely. Like let's give an example like during snow time that they cannot go to work, they will be able to work from home remotely to perform their tasks. So, when it comes to that, journalists, the activists, and the whistleblower, VPN, using a VPN, it will help ensure ensure the anonymity when accessing and sharing sensitive information online. Now we talk about like students, VPN. Using a VPN can help students access academic resources more easily. Game enthusiastic. Using a VPN, it provides those gamers. There are a lot of gamers out there. Access to global gaming servers, and it helps to reduce what the chances of an in-game interaction caused by DDoS or other tracking attacks. Now, in computer, a let me say a DOS, which is denial of service attack. It is a cyber attack in which the cyber criminals they seek to find what they find a machine or a network resources unavailable to its what intended users by temporarily or indefinitely disrupting services of a host connected to the network. Oh, yes. Virtual private network is so crucial to a lot of organizations. And I'm just going to give you a few reasons. It enhances security. VPN encrypts the internet traffic by protecting sensitive information from hackers and cyber threat, especially when using public Wi-Fi network. Now, when it comes to remote access, employees can securely access the organizational network from remote location when you're at home, anywhere in the world, facilitating the remote work and maintaining what? The productivity. Now, when it comes to data privacy, which is we know that is very crucial, right? VPN mask the user IP address by enhancing the online privacy and preventing by tracking the third parties. Secure communication. They provide a secure channel for communication between the employees and organization network by protecting against eavesdropping. Now, when it comes to compliance, we do understand that a lot of companies they're working so hard to make sure they're in compliance with the regulation. So many industries have regulations regarding data protection. Now, using your VPN, right, it's going to help a lot of organizations to comply with these legal requirements. Compliance. Okay, authentication. Users are often required to authenticate themselves before accessing the VPN. This can involve what? Remember your username. Remember when you are logging in into when you go to OES, our ecosystem, they will ask you to insert your username and your password. And if you cannot insert the right username, you will not be able to access your OES. Very important. Network integration. Once connected, users can now access their internal resources like the server as well as the databases. Now, if they were physically present by utilizing the VPN, right? It's as if they are physically present in the office. Now you have monitoring and logging. Organizations like OnPassive will be able to utilize that all virtual to monitor the usage and maintain the logs, right? For security, auditing, and compliance purposes. How to choose a VPN? Choosing a VPN, it depends upon your organization. Our OnPassive, I just call organization, as you know, you have the private industry, federal, you have financial, you have education, you have the health, right? So when it comes to finance, as you heard Brother Timothy talking about finance, right? So unique private needs. Now, some factors to consider are servers locations, providers, log policies, subscription. Now, when it comes to policy, you all understand that uh, by us utilizing um, our NDA, right? We are trying to follow the policy that has been written by our CEO or our company. Everybody has to abide by it. So when it comes to the architecture, you have to choose the VPN network structure based upon whether you intend to use the VPN for personal or business reason. Consider it as like servers, right? The quantity of location of the VPN servers, since this can impact the connection speed, the performance, and your ability to access content freely. Policy, policy. When it comes to policy, different companies, when you go to you go to work, a policy has been written and a procedure as well. You and I, we really have to abide by it, right? So find a VPN server with no log policy to help ensure your provider doesn't store your activities data and possibly misuse or compromise the sensitive information. Cost. Consider all associated fees and read the reviews to find what the VPN with the right cost to quality ratio. Protocol. Choose a VPN that follows the set rules and procedures for data encryption that you need without sacrificing the device compatibility or security features. Right. The VPN can help protect you from spying on public Wi-Fi, identity theft, government surveillance, account takeover, and unauthorized access to sensitive accounts. So this is what is going on or going to happen within our company on Pansy if we utilizes our virtual people in different countries around the world. Guess what? They can use VPN to access the content, the social media platform, more freely. Now, beyond that, anyone can use VPN to enhance their privacy. When utilizing the public or airplane Wi-Fi, playing video games, browsing the dark web, working remotely, exchanging sensitive information online, or trying to avoid government surveillance. VPN are essential for protecting sensitive information, enabling secure remote work, and ensuring data privacy within any organization, especially on passive. Now, they facilitate a secure communication across various locations, making them a vital, or when I talk about vital, is important, the component of modern organizational IT infrastructure. So, just to let you guys know, this is where I got my information from. And I want to thank you all for listening and giving me that opportunity to share my little knowledge when it comes to all virtual. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashmovere. All virtual is very important all over, not only within on passive, but all over the globe. We need it to secure our data. Thank you, Queen Debbie, Dr. Derek. Thank you all, my Queen Santos, for listening. Next, we will know more and more types of VPN. Thank you again for the opportunity. My name is DrBenny from United States of America.
Okay, wonderful. We are here now.
Yes, Dr. Derek.
All right, wonderful. Nice. Thank you very much. First Lady Queen, Dr. Bernadette Tinglet. Awesome. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I actually I didn't know it was going to hit the VPN like that. I just mentioned it last week, but you tackled it this week, and I really appreciate. Thank you very much. Firstly, the Queen Dr. Benny, that was awesome. VPN, very important, and we are going to get it all right here in on passive. All right, yes, most, if not all VPN will have a trial period, and then it will cost monthly. Everything now is subscription, everything is subscription. All right, can't get away from it. But anyway, wonderful. Thank you very much. Firstly, Dr. Benny, any comments, any question, any from anyone? Okay, all right, wonderful. All right, seems like everybody is good to go. All right, thank you. So everybody, all right, go ahead, Queen.
Dr. Derek, sorry. King Vitel. I heard he wanted to say something. Brother Vitel, are you available, please? Vitel Smart. All right, Dr. Derek, you can proceed, please.
Sorry, Dr. Benny, I'm in the background. Yeah, you doing?
Oh, yes, proceed, Brother Vitel. Thank you. Good evening.
Somebody wanted to say something?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. What do you want me to say? I'm here listening to you. Is there anything special?
Well, Something about unpassive, something about our CEO, something about what is going on within unpassive.
Okay. Yeah, you know, Dr. Benny, I've been out for in the background here listening. I've been out for a little while, taking care of some humanitarian efforts in my local community here. Also, I want to thank all the members, all the members of this wonderful group to step up and help our dear Sister Julie. I want to say thank you to all who contributed to the cause. I want to say thank you to Ms. Ashma Farr for having taken us to this level, and we're looking forward to the relaunch of OConnect and the relaunch of the whole unpassive repertoire of products. In the meantime, you know, those of us who have other things to do, you know, we are busy. I personally am here taking care of my local organization, helping to raise funds for those people who were devastated by the hurricane in Jamaica. We have raised quite a bit of money, a lot of work, but it's preparing me for bless. And so I'm thankful for all who have contributed. And I'm looking forward to be back here on a full-time basis where I can start doing some more presentation. In the meantime, I'm in the background. All right. So God bless, and looking forward to those who will be attending the Passion Singapore webinar on Thursday, the 3rd anniversary. So Brother Kumar and I'll be there, and just to celebrate with you guys. Okay, Dr. Benny, thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, Brother Vitel.
Yes.
We want to thank you for the humanitarian work that you have been doing in your country and all over the globe. We do understand. And I know you are working so hard trying to help those who are in need, just like our CEO. May the Lord be with you. May the Lord guide you. May the Lord protect you, provide you the more strength so you can continue, because we have a lot of needy out there. So, Brother Vitel, keep up the good work. We thank you for all your help.
Also, Dr. Benny, one of my very, very good friend just passed away. Big supporter of Oh Bless. A gentleman who was beside me, behind me, in front of me, helped me to sponsor all those Oh Bless t-shirts that I sent to a lot of different people. You know, he just passed away, you know, a couple days ago. And I'm here just mourning that fast because I'm gonna miss him so dearly. Yeah.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry for, I should say, my condolence to you and his entire family. And you know that when someone leaves the world, maybe it was his time to leave, and I know that he is no longer in pain. We are the one here crying, but maybe he is there smiling, and he is watching over you. And what I know, since he used to contribute, he will send somebody in spirit to continue to help you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Derek.
Yes,
Dr.
really
Derek,
appreciate.
Dr. Derek, just so you know, you remember Joseph Miller?
Yes, I remember those.
Yeah, he's the one that passed.
Oh, mercy, 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 mercy. One that is so. My condolences to him and his family. Um, mercy. Where did he live? I don't remember.
He lives in the Houston area, in Texas.
Houston, Texas, right? Okay. All right, cool. My condolence, convey my condolence to his family. All right. Sorry to hear. All right. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, King Vitel. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, everyone, for making it deep dive, globally changing lives. And thank you very much, King Tim. We appreciate the presentation. Thank you very much, First Lady King, First Lady Queen, Dr. Benny. Really appreciate the presentation on VPN. Thank you very, very much. And we just want to let you know that come tomorrow, we'll be having Julie Peer lifting up humanity, and that is 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Then come again Thursday. It is going to be right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Deep dive, globally changing lives. And of course, we are going to go to stress management, coping with stress. And I know everybody has stress. Everybody has stress. So let us learn how to cope with stress, that you don't have to go to the psychiatrist and get some pill to take. Let us learn and find out how we can cope with stress. And that will be Thursday at 8 p.m. And then every 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., we do have Dr. Ivan and Queen Ivan, One Global Movement. We also have Passion on Thursday morning, Eastern Daylight Time, 8 a.m. And you can join them there. The dates will be their third anniversary celebration of that webinar. So you can join them. And then Sunday, come Sunday, it is Dream Team, right? The Dream Team with the Dream Team, and that is 12:45 Eastern Daylight Time. And then come next week, Monday, it will be Mindset Monday once again with our beloved Queen Miriam Edwards. And so we want to thank you, and we're pulling the curtains down, and we are going to turn over to Queen Dr. Nadu with the after party as we rock a little bit, because work and no play makes us dull. So we need to rock a little bit with bringing our bones back in tune and get some music and so on going. So we want to thank you those who are on YouTube and various other social media platforms. We want to thank you for joining us and for being here with us on this wonderful Tuesday. Thank you all very much as we wrap up this wonderful webinar. We want to thank you all very much, and you have yourself and continue to have yourself